Hi, this is Jeremy Moskowitz, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use a couple of scripts in order to figure out which Azure AD groups a user or computer is a member of. Now, I'm going to stress a couple things right at the front of this video. These scripts are completely unsupported, okay? If you have trouble with them, I'm sorry. If they work, that's great. That's the first thing. Second thing is there's a bunch of little moving parts here, and I'll go over those. There's also a second video for using this in PolicyPak Cloud, but don't do that one unless you've actually watched this video first, because a lot of the pregame setup is in here. This is what you'll see in the download. You'll see that there are four things. One is a thing that will encrypt a password. Second is a thing that will get the user side. Third is a thing that will get the computer side. And fourth is a thing that it's sort of a pre-required item. Now, before all this happens, the very first thing you need to do is to go to Azure AD and to create what is really called a read-only user. You just go ahead and click on New User in Azure, and then you give them a name, give them a password. Now you have to log on as that guy one time to then change the password to something complicated. Like, you can't just set it up and use the default password that Azure gives you. You actually have to log on one time first. Now, I've already done all this, and I've called my guy Lookup. So my guy is called Lookup at fabricam1000.com. Okay, he doesn't have Office, doesn't have anything else. He's just like a guy called Lookup, and this is required. Now, if you take a look at the scripts, you'll see that inside the scripts we give you, there is, if we take a look at the user side, there is the user information and what's called encrypted credentials. The user information is going to be, you're going to have to jam that in and make it lookup, or whatever yours is, at fabricam1000.com. Okay? Then how do you get the encrypted password? Well, that is what Encrypt Password 2 is all about. So let me go ahead and show you what this looks like in PowerShell land. So let me go over here. Oops, I can't type today. So go to CD and go over here, and then PowerShell. Okay, so the idea is that once this guy has a password, you're going to know what that password is. So let's take a look at our scripts. The one we want is the encrypt password. Okay, so we could let me just do a quick get help on this guy to remember how it works. Okay, so all you need to do is to do the encrypted password to script, and then give it -password information, and then the password, whatever that is. When you do this, an encrypted string pops out. If you want to write it to a file, you can just pipe it to out file, password encrypt1.txt or something like that. Okay, so now it's hanging out in a file-based form. So here we go. Here's the password encrypted. Okay, we'll take this guy and we're going to shove it right between the little dashes here, shebang, okay, and you'll save it out. You'll do the same thing on the computer side, exactly the same thing on the computer side. Now, I've already done this to make this go a little faster. Now, remember, these scripts are unsupported and they are technically not secure. Why are they not secure? Well, let's take a look at the first one. Because you can see here's the login information for this guy, here's the password, and then here's the key to decrypt it. If you knew what you were doing, if you were a smart and savvy person as a user, you could in fact find the script hanging out in PolicyPak and Group Policy Land, read the key, do some magic, and pull back out the lookup password. Again, not a lot that can go wrong here, but I don't want you to think that this has actually got a firewall level of security on it. Okay, again, the script is use at your own risk, and you should know by using it that it is not technically secure. Okay, so you've jammed in your username, your UPN name. Okay, lookup at your whatever.com, and your encrypted password in both of those guys. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to use PP scripts. Now, I've already got this set up to make this go a little faster. Oh, that's the wrong guy. Here we go. So that's still the wrong guy. That's the right guy. So I've got a GPO called AAD Group Enumerate Script through PolicyPak. Now, again, if you only care about PolicyPak Cloud, you can maybe pause the video at this point and jump to the next video, but you probably want to watch it all the way through. In this first example, I'm going to use a machine that is both domain joined and Azure joined, which is called DJ++. So he's kind of got a foot in both camps. Let's take a look at what I'm doing on the computer side first. So if I go to computer side, Scripts Manager, okay, what you do here is you're going to add a new policy here. I'm going to just kind of walk it through. Even though it's already done, I'm just going to kind of walk through. You're going to apply it to the computer, okay? And then you're going to paste in, okay, PowerShell script. The one that you want to paste in first in order is the install Azure AD module script. So you're going to take this guy, jam it in here, and paste it in, next, 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 and you're done. Okay, I've already done that. It's hanging out right here, install AAD module. Okay, I've already done that guy. I've already done that step. It's hanging out right here. You're going to do that exact same thing right here with the computer script. So you're going to get the computer side as well. Okay, you're going to do the exact same thing. You're just going to jam that right in there, and you're going to make that an apply action, and you can see there's my credentials and so on, and you can go, there's no revert action required, and again, you're just going to apply it on the computer side. In the same GPO, provided this group policy object will hit both the computer and the user. This is linked to my sales team, so it has that ability. But if you need to do another group policy object, that's fine. What we're going to do is on the user side in PolicyPak scripts land, this is where you're going to jam in the user side script. Okay. Now remember, I've already done this and it's ready to rock. I've already got this ready to go here. Okay. You're going to make sure run script as user goes here, not running interactively, and you're just going to copy and paste the whole script in just like that. When this is all over, here is what happens. So if I go over to this machine here, and I've already done it, I've already logged on. Let me show you the result of what's happened here. Now, the first things first is that it may not happen the very first time you reboot the computer or the first time the guy logs on. Sometimes this takes 2 shots to work. When this is over, if you type set at a command prompt, what you're looking at is the environment variables. And you can see here, Azure AD computer groups is this group and that group. Aha! And Azure AD user groups is this group, that group, and this other group. Aha! So you can see here, okay, you can see here that you can query the environment variable to figure out if somebody is a member of a group or not now. You couldn't do that before, and now you can. Now, the last part of this is how do you use this in item level targeting? How do you take a group policy preferences item or an admin template item or a group policy or a PolicyPak item? How do you take these things and make sure it only hits when somebody is in a particular group? I'm going to show you that right now. Okay, so the way you do this is, actually, let me go back to the material that you'll be downloading. Maybe what I'll also do here is I will create a new file. So by the time you see this video, there'll be a file here called wmyFilter example. Okay, and so I'll go ahead and paste this in. So the idea here is that you are going to use this in a minute inside of group policy preferences land. Okay, so I'll actually do, I'll create this one and create that one. I'll explain how this works in 2 seconds. So Azure AD computer groups. Okay, so the idea here is that you're going to then be reading that string, and you're going to say, okay, look, if the guy as a user is in a group called support, hey, that means we've got a hit. And if the computer is in a group called, say, I don't know, laptops or something like that, then hey, you've got a hit. All right. So, so this put this on computer side, and I'll put this on user side. Okay. So now let me show you how you would use this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this string, and I've already got a group policy preference item that's kind of ready to go here. So I've got a I want to create a group policy preferences shortcut item when I know the guy is on the sales team. Well, let's figure out how to do that. So if I go to preferences here and I go to shortcuts here, I always like to use shortcuts because it always it's very easy to do. So if I go to shortcuts here, all I'm doing is I'm creating a URL called Hello World on the desktop when I know the guy is on the sales team. So I've got item level targeting, and you can click on targeting here. And there's a special query. I'll go ahead and delete that just to get started. There's a special query. There's no way to look at the environment variable. You can see there is a thing called environment variable here, but there's no way to like pull out information from that environment variable. Sort of a bummer. I'd love to use that, but I can't. So instead, you're going to use this other guy called wmyQuery. And the thing is, you're going to actually nuke this namespace item. I don't know why. You just do. Okay, nuke that first. Then take what I have in the text file and jam that in. So let's look at it again. which is select star from Win32 environment where Azure AD user groups, that's the name of the environment variable that's now on the machine, has the thing I'm looking for. Let's go back to the machine. Let's see Azure. How about East Sales users? Let's see if he's a member of East Sales users. Okay, great. So we'll go back over here and type that in. So not like support, but let's look for East Sales users. East Sales users. Okay, so this is now only going to fire off, this shortcut for a user is only going to fire off when the guy is a member of the East Sales users group in Azure AD. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and run GP update. Remember, this computer is domain joined and Azure AD joined. So because of that, it's getting the group policy object, but reading the evaluation that's occurred from Azure AD. And if all goes well, this shortcut wouldn't normally be there, but because we're querying for that value to see, hey, there we go. Here's our hello world shortcut, just like what we expect. And you can also see this happen in reverse as well. So which is to say, like if you change this over and the condition no longer applies, like maybe that computer isn't in Azure AD, or that user isn't in Azure AD anymore. So for instance, if I take a look at Azure Active Directory and take a look at my group membership here, take a look at my group membership. Okay, I can see that East Sales User 1, okay, East Sales User, well actually I can look at East Sales Users real quick. Okay, and I can see that there's 9 users in there, and I can take a look at the members here, and yep, East Sales User 1, there we go. So that guy is a member. So the point of the story is maybe this guy's not a member anymore. This will evaluate to false, and then that shortcut can go away if that's something you wanted to do. Okay. Now just to put a fine point on it, this whole idea of the item level targeting can be used not just in preferences, of course, but anywhere in PolicyPak land. So if you wanted to say, kill the control panel when the guy has this, whatever, you can just use admin template manager, or you could do something nifty with browser router or least privilege manager. It's all the same thing. You just create a new policy here. Okay, all the same stuff. Okay, and maybe I want to do something like prohibit access to the control panel. Okay, yep, that's the guy right there, prohibit access to the control panel. And then I want to only do this when an Azure AD group thing is true. How would I do that? New item, WMI query, nuke the namespace thingamabob, paste in the example I gave you, and if you want to say if he's in East Sales users, and again, you're going to check that first to make sure he's really a member of that thing here in Azure AD. Okay, so East Sales users, yep, sure enough. So if you wanted to do this thing, okay, kill the control panel only when that Azure AD group has got the thing. You can see, bang, we light up as orange and you're ready to go. And that's all there is to it. Okay, so that ends this first video. If you want to do this in PolicyPak Cloud, you can move on to the next video and you're off to the races. Again, this is all unsupported, and we know that it inherently is not a secure mechanism, but it does get you to the goal to enumerate what groups a user or a computer has in Azure Active Directory and then take an action upon them if that's what you want to do. Okay, hope this helps you out. Thank you very much and talk to you soon.